Okay, so today I want to talk about the importance of having a movement practice and just how moving the body is a very spiritual practice. And we can use our body as a prayer, as a vessel of prayer, and just how it all correlates with creative energy and increasing one's creativity and vitality, and just liveliness through the practice of moving the body, a movement practice. So when I say movement practice, that can be anything, anything that allows you to move your body. So walking, there's people. I'm at a park right now. There's people there walking around the park. You can run, you can jog, you can do yoga. Got my yoga mat. You can do martial arts, bow style training, movement. You can do calisthenics, pull-ups, dips, do weight training. Anything that moves your body. It's very important to move our body, because we look at our bodies. What are our bodies? These bodies are beautiful vessels that we have been gifted. Beautiful vessels that our souls have found a way into. So our bodies are what is the things that glue us to this physical realm, right? This physical reality. In regards of spirituality, there's a physical, which is this earth, and then there's spirit, which is soul. Spirit. We have flesh and we have spirit. So the body is a vessel, and I think that it is very important for us to take care of our body, right? For us to stretch, for us to breathe, for us to put our body in ranges of motions, to open, to expand, and to put our body through challenges. Going for a run, going for a jog. For some people, walking is a challenge, but it's important for us to put our body through challenge, to put our body in motion, and to not be stagnant, because stagnation is the trap. That's where a lot of people become depressed or have low energy, low vitality. People get a lot of health problems and conditions, and people, get very stiff and can't stretch, can't move, because they have gotten comfortable with being stagnant. So this is why, for me, it is very important for me to have a movement practice. And I'm an artist, so I see moving as art. Like dancing, that's a form of art. Look at Michael Jackson while he on the stage, hitting his moves. Hitting his Michael Jackson. That's art. He's moving his body. He's dancing. They have like choreography, where they have choreography coaches where they're in class, they're practicing. It's an art form. So moving is art to me. Moving the body, to be able to put the body in different ranges of motion, and to keep, integrity in the pose, and to be balanced and tall and powerful, and be fluid and graceful in the movement. It's a form of art to me, martial art. Why do you think it's called martial arts? Because it's an art. Martial arts, the art of war. So me as an artist, I don't just refine myself to one form of art. I remain open to all forms of art. And I think this is what makes me a more powerful, creative, and just overall strong artist, because I indulge in all of the arts. And moving my body helps me move energy, because whenever we're moving, whenever we're doing yoga, whenever we're doing strength training, you know, and it's like a challenge, or even if it's not a challenge, even if it's a graceful practice, but we're moving energy while we're doing this, while we're stretching, while we're doing our strength training. Energy is moving. So a lot of people have blocked and stored and stuck energy. And this is what causes people to feel like they're not creative, or feel a lack of motivation, a lack of inspiration, a lack of self-confidence, self-esteem, because their body or their energy centers are so blocked, they're so stuck, versus someone who is mobile and flexible and can move and can have fun and can dance and can be free. You know, there's like a more free-flowing energy that is moving throughout that person's spirit and their vessel. Their vessel is more open to experience this life. So it increases one's creativity, one's ability to create from that open space, you know? So moving is it's a practice that I think we all should practice moving. And it can be something so simple as going for a walk, you know? For my own life, I observe, like, whenever I'm out of my movement practice, because I'm a yogi, I'm a martial artist, I'm a athlete. You know, I've been practicing calisthenics for about 5-6 years now, just building, you know, foundational strength, building a strong body, a strong physique, building my muscles, building, you know, my flexibility with yoga, stretching, martial arts, you know, opening my body. And it's a practice, and sometimes I fall out of the practice. Sometimes I go long periods of times without doing push-ups, without testing my strength. You know, I fall into that comfortableness. Sometimes I get comfortable without stretching. You know, sometimes I go times and I'm just not showing up in my body to stretch and to release, and I get real stiff. Sometimes I go time without picking up my bow staff and doing any type of spins or any type of strikes, you know. So it's like, I'm definitely not perfect, but I'm definitely a practitioner when it comes to the practice of moving the body. And I find that whenever I am in practice of moving my body, it just feels better, you know. Like, my life feels better. I feel more vitality, more energy. You know, especially starting a day off with it. You know, getting up early in the morning and arising, and really having this be a prayer for me. You know, putting my body through challenge and opening my body and breathing deep with my body, you know. Just take a pause. We're gonna take 8 deep breaths together, so you can just find yourself where you are and just rest your eyes and sit up tall. We're just gonna pull in our breath, our life force. Breathe in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. 4 more, in, out, 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 And Slowly release through the nose. And now the breath is a very powerful tool that we can use to put ourselves in a more relaxed state, a more calm state, especially when we breathe in through our nose and out through our nose. It activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the sympathetic nervous system, whichever one puts you in a calm state. I get them mixed up. But yeah, whichever one puts you in a calm state, this is what breathing activates. So it's important to breathe deep and calm and full, especially whenever we are training and putting ourselves through challenges. It's important to keep a calm spirit, through the challenge, through the vigor, through the strength. Stay calm and stay present, stay grounded. And this is the way that I train, and as I've been growing on my journey of just being a spiritual being, and like making things more intentional, making things more of prayer, this movement practice, and even like calisthenics, has become more of a spiritual practice, more of like shadow work for me. So it's like instead of like training and listening to a whole bunch of rap music and pump and hip hop and like music like that, I've steered more to listening to like spiritual tunes, spiritual jazz frequencies, drumming, samurai music, things that make it more of a spiritual practice versus just like, okay, I'm training for my ego and I'm, listening to NBA Youngboy and I'm, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's cool. Like, there's a time and a place for that. Don't get me wrong, sometimes I still do. But I notice the difference in between when I'm listening to Native American flutes and I'm training versus when I'm listening to NBA Youngboy and I'm training. There's a different spirit, a different energy, a different level of like sacredness when I'm listening to the flutes. It makes this whole thing spiritual. It makes it a prayer. Versus when I'm listening to NBA Youngboy and I'm training. Yeah, it might get me pumped up. It might make me feel, like pumped and shit, but it's more ego. It's like, okay, now I'm training for my ego. So I think it's important, very important for us to know the difference and for us to mature into making things spiritual, making things prayer, making things ceremony. So yeah, that's pretty much my spiel. I'm just out here, starting my day off with this training. I really want to start getting out here earlier because I prefer to be out here by myself, like before the sun rises or while the sun is rising. Like it's around damn near 10 o'clock right now, which is too late for me. Like I want to get out here around 8 o'clock before the day gets moving. Then when I get home, I can have more time to do what needs to be done versus having a late start. But the most important thing is that you show up. So I showed up, and that's all that matters. So I'm just wrapping up my warm-up right now. I'm about to get into some calisthenics, some pull-ups, some dips, some push-ups, keeping the motion slow, focusing on the strength, focusing on the pull, and not rushing through the motion, going for strength and going for intention with my movements versus pumping out push-ups, pumping out pull-ups. Instead of pumping them out, I do them slow and intentional, and I really can feel everything, really focus on the eccentric, focus on the pull, and yeah, shout out to bro, he getting it in. And big shout out to the OGs too, man. The one doing the pull-ups, that's OG George, he's 75, and then OG in the hat, his name P, and he in his 40s. So, we can't allow our age to limit us. It's inspiring to see this because I aspire to be the same way. 75, 80, still pushing, still, teaching others, still giving my experience of my life that I've had, but we should move until we can't move anymore, move until it's time for us to move on, because movement is medicine. Movement is the true,
fountain of youth. That is what's going to keep us young. So we have to forever move our bodies, forever stay in practice, stay fun, stay childlike, share, and love.
So if you enjoyed this video, if you gained any insight, any value, inspiration, if anything resonated with you, just leave a comment below. Let me know what you thought about the video. This is more of a movement-based video. Like this channel, I'm an artist, so I'm gonna post art content, painting, all that stuff. But art is the whole. So it's gonna be movement, yoga. It's all me. You know what I mean? So if you resonated with the video, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. And yeah, I'll see y'all next time. I'm about to get this money. Peace.